ready to embark on a journey towards becoming the next generation of millionaires, the faithful way.
Thank you so very much for choosing Radio Christian Voice. It's always great to know that you are listening. My name is Kunda, and welcome to Next Generation of Millionaires. 09602000490. Do feel free to talk to us. And we've been coming week after week, bringing some beautiful insights on wealth building. In the studio with me, I have Dr. Kennedy Musonda. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. How have you been?
I've been good. How have you been?
I've been good too, thank you.
Yeah, and how's the church?
The church is, we at least we are seeing some signs, positive signs. As a pastor, your heart gets broken in so many pieces. At one point things are going very well, then all of a sudden things are not so well. Sometimes some people start doing very well, so you are happy. Then all of a sudden they are not doing well, you are sad. So it's your emotions can be a roller coaster sometimes. Yeah, but at least the previous weeks it's been good. We've seen the grace of God abounding. We've seen some numbers going up. Hopefully they'll be consistent. Yeah. We've seen new faces. I think last Sunday we had the highest number since we started about 1 year, 10, 11 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 year, 11 months. 1, 10, 11, I've stopped counting now.
Yeah. We thank God. Yeah. When you talk of emotions, actually, I have a friend of mine who's also a pastor, and he was just sharing how your emotions can be up and down. And actually was saying that sometimes you become so attached to people, and sometimes when they leave, you're heartbroken.
yes. But also the other thing also is the issue of there are people you expect to do certain things. Yeah. And they just don't. Yeah. You preach a sermon, you are expecting people to say, naikawe. You are pepa na ufunga, na study, shanshani. Then you hammer, hot one, they even praise you. But you don't see any change. Maybe you pray, you teach on prayer. So you hope that this prayer meeting, the number will increase. Maybe it is even it even goes down.
All right. And so here on Next Generation of Millionaires, we've been sharing some nice insights on building wealth. And obviously we did first start off when we were looking at a job. We did look at the challenges of a job in creating wealth or building wealth. And then we also did look at the advantages of a job in creating or building wealth. Mm-hmm. And so today, as we move on, we're going to look at, we're going to unveil the dimensions of income. And so this is our topic. And so if you'd love to talk to us, please feel free to talk to us. Send us a message on 0960-200-490. Come through, send a text message or a WhatsApp message. And so as we kickstart off with our topic today, I would love us to get to the introduction to the types of income. I think you did touch just a little bit in the previous program.
2 weeks ago, I think I did.
Yeah, so we could just get into that.
Yeah, so let me begin with a story before I can explain. I don't know whether it's a story. In almost all cases, when you are doing training, wealth creation training, I don't say I'm training people for business entrepreneurship. And for me, I look at what all these aspects are just a means to creating wealth. Even a job for me, it's a means to creating wealth. Consultants is a means. My goal is create wealth. And so I begin by asking people when we come to this segment of training, and I say, how many types of incomes do you know? So people start telling me a salary. I said, okay, that's just a type of income. They'll say commission. No, that's just a type of one income. So it's rare that you find in an audience people that know the different types of incomes. Now, it's important. Naming things vocabulary is very critical in a particular field or profession. Because if you don't know the vocabulary, then how are you going to operate and interact with other people? You know, if you are a lawyer must very well know the legal jargon. They will just hear by the statement you make, they know you are not a lawyer. And sometimes if you don't know the language, it's very difficult to learn. An example, and this is a very interesting story. That one is a real story. Before I come to that, if you come to church, very few people actually have even the language and the concept of theology. Ordinary members. In many churches, ordinary members know very little. They know very little in terms of theology. They don't even know how the Bible was put together. If you tell them the word canon, the pastor is busy preaching canon, they have no idea. And this is what shocked me when I went into theology. There are even some concepts that I learned after I'd finished 4 years. The lecturer would say, this is a narrative. This is a narrative. And he's thinking we are understanding each other. Afterwards, I sat and said, what is a narrative? When I Googled and did whatever I do, I said, narrative is, they're just telling us it's a story. It's like somebody is narrating, it's a story. Yeah. But if they are telling you that the Bible has different types of books, you have narratives, you have other Psalms, you have wisdom literature.
Yeah. Prophecy.
Yeah, prophecies. A lot of members don't know. Why? The language. Now here is a story. Because for you to be taught, you need to know something for you to learn. Here's a woman at an airport. A guy comes and is looking for direction. And the guy says, excuse me, can you give me direction to this place? The woman says, okay. Do you know that place? He says, no. Do you know that and that? No. Do you know that? Then the lady says, sir, you don't know enough for me to give you directions. You need some basics for you to even learn. That's why when you start learning, they begin with foundational, simple concepts. I mean, you may have gone in a class where you are at 1, the other participants are at 3, and they assume you know. It's a very difficult to understand. So we come to the issue of concepts in terms of wealth creation. To create wealth, you need to understand wealth concepts. And that's why we begin by actually defining these things. So I was saying, the question that you asked, coming back to your question that you asked, there are 3 types of incomes. Others may categorize them even maybe in more than 3, but I prefer to categorize them in 3. That's what I know. The day I will know the 4th one, I'm going to add it or divide what I already know. There is what is called end income, which we talked about, I think 2 weeks ago. End income is a type of income. Then there is what is called passive income. And then there is what is called portfolio income. Okay? Now, end income is a type of income, in a nutshell, that comes from doing work physically. Passive income is the most beautiful type of income. Is income that you get from work already done. So end income, you work, you get paid. Passive income, you are working, you are not getting paid. After you have worked, that's when you start getting paid. Very difficult for people with employee mindset to do that. Portfolio income is income from what we call paper assets, from what they call securities. And again, is a question of language. When we say securities, do our listeners know what we mean by securities? Okay? We are talking about bonds, treasury bills. Even those need to be defined for some people. Shares, So, but in future episodes, future seasons, we will cover those. So you just stay tuned. So basically, in a nutshell, these are the 3 types of incomes.
0960-200-490 do come through, and let's get interactive. And so that's very beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing with us those 3 types. And so, but I'd love us to explore a little bit further.
Yeah.
You know, what are the advantages and disadvantages of end income?
Okay. Yeah. Now, this is especially for those that didn't listen to the program when we are looking at the disadvantages of a job in creating wealth. So end income is income, as I mentioned, from working physically. Okay? In other words, for you to earn end income, is that you have to work physically. You have to be present. I'm sure some people may be thinking, but is there an alternative? I thought every time for you to earn an income, you have to work. No, that doesn't always mean that you have to be present, you know. And so, the first aspect or examples of end income, number 1 is a salary. For you to earn a salary, you have to report at some place. You work, I don't know the schedule of how you are paid. You work, you get paid. Maybe some people, generally in Zambia, you have to get paid after 1 month. In other countries, they can't afford to live 1 month without getting paid. In some places, in some countries, they pay you on a weekly basis. They call it weekly check pay, weekly paycheck, sorry. And some maybe it's 2 weeks. You know, when I worked for USAID, we were getting paid every 2 weeks. It was not a month end pay. It was a pay period. So the pay period, and there were 2 months in a year when we would get 3 pay periods. You know,
that was nice.
It was very nice. You know what we used to do? We would say, you just know. You have to ask. This week I'm not paid, which means next week I'll be paid. But the problem is that it was not any helpful in terms of managing income.
Yeah.
Because when I was getting paid on a monthly basis, you would keep your money and reach the end of the month. But when I started getting paid on a bi-weekly basis, it was difficult to reach the end of the 2 weeks, the second week. Why? Mindset. You know that I'm going to get. You just know this week you can blow up the money. You have only 1 weekend in between. The next weekend we are getting paid. Yeah. But what we are saying is that with end income, you have to be present, and that's a salary. The other type of end income is what are called commissions. You know, where you are selling things, and after that they give you something. My daughter this week, I heard she was going to attend interviews, and then it's at an insurance company. So I said, so how are you going to be working? She said, no, we'll be selling policies. So are they going to pay you a salary? She said, no, it's going to be commission. I said, my daughter, you are going to be abused. Because you are going to be supporting the company. The company will not spend any. It will benefit, but it will not invest, in because they are not like giving you a salary and then you perform. You have to work. Only when you sell a policy are you going to get commission. So you can stay the whole month, you have toiled. As long as you have not sold, you have labored, but there is no fruit. And then you only get paid when you are in a country that's not first world or second world. We are saying the third world, or let's say respect ourselves. We're in a developing world where people may not give concern about insurance. So she was going to be getting commissions, and I'm the one who was going to be footing her transport money and everything, her lunch. So that's a problem with that type of end income. I think it's a worse off type of income. The good thing is that you learn selling skills, which are very, very critical. But because of other commitment, we said, no, just stay home, my daughter. We can still take care of you. Then we are talking about consultants' fees. Consultant fees, in fact, of all the types of end income, if you're a senior consultant like me, consultants gives you a better type of income, because you can actually earn in a day what people get salaries earn in a month. This world is very unfair. There are people who charge $1,000 per day, consultants, when others cannot get $1,000 per month.
Very unfair.
Very, very unfair. But you can unfair it if there's anything like that. You can make it fair by you yourself moving to that level. Yeah. So that is the challenge with end income. And we are saying the other disadvantage is that you work, you get paid. You work, you get paid. Once you stop working, it stops coming. It is also very tricky and dangerous in case of sickness, in case of retirement, in case of death, because anything that makes you not be at a place of work, especially if you do the other types of end income, commission and consultants. A consultant cannot afford to go to fall sick. You know, I have had the grace, by God's grace, of being of sound health in the 16 years that I've been a consultant. That has not been a problem, because it's by God's grace. Okay, but if you are doing, you are a consultant, or you are doing commission work and you can't work, you fall sick, then it becomes poverty actually visits you there and then. So that's the danger with end income. Yeah, but the advantage is that end income gives you an opportunity to earn. It's a seed actually. End income is a seed which you need to plant. And when you plant it, it will be able to bear fruit. That is if you have a wealth creation mindset. Otherwise, most people that earn income, because of the certainty that they will get it, that makes them even more financially indisciplined, because they can misuse the money. They know that at the end of the month they'll get paid. They'll get paid. You know, me as a consultant, I can't afford to do that. I actually make sure that I have enough income to cover 6 months of expenses, but better 1 year. I don't want to have savings for more than a year, because then I'm only benefiting the bank. The bank will be making more money out of my savings than I'm making myself. But so when it reaches a certain amount, I go and invest it. Yeah.
Okay. And we are looking at those different dimensions, and we've talked about end income, and we're going to move to passive income. The power of passive income. You know,
for me, passive income, I call it the most beautiful type of income. It's beautiful in the sense that, like I mentioned in the introduction, the challenge with passive income, that's why sometimes people with employee mindset have problems with passive income, because the issue is that when you are working, you are not getting paid. Okay? When you are working, you are not getting paid. And the type of passive income includes rental income, royalties, and many such type. Okay? Now, what happens here is that with passive income is that when you are working, you are not getting paid. Let me give an example. When we were building, we built a house where we live in. We start building other structures. One of the structures that we've built is that was specifically for rental purposes. It was for rental income, not for us to stay in there. When we were building, I think it took us probably 5 years or less, 3-4 years to build it. When we were building, we were just investing. We were not getting paid anything. Now, when we finished, in fact, our first tenants got in the house before we even completely finished it. We didn't have one. I think we had 2 or so who at the same time wanted to go in the house. Then we started getting rental income. You know, you just look as, and we told them, no, don't pay us 3 months in advance. Just pay us on a monthly basis.
So you enjoy now?
Yeah. So at the end of the month, the money comes. For me, 1 month was too long. But for my tenant, 1 month is too short. Because before he realizes, he has to pay me. You know, he goes to work, I remain home, but he comes and pay me. So that is the challenge, the beauty of passive income, or if you are on the positive side, you know. So another example is, let's say you write a book. When you are writing, the book that I've written that I've been talking about in this program, you know, and if you need a copy, please contact me through CV. It took me, I think, about 14 to 15 years to write it. The major challenge why it took so long was I used to have a lot of breaks. But also I would write and rewrite. And yeah, but I wrote it for that long. Now, I am just selling the book. At least I can sell one book. You can find the money. I am not going to work again in the sense of working, you know, because I worked when I was writing. Now it's a time to if you are a musician, you compose a song, or you are prepared, you are recording, you are working. Then afterwards, you just start benefiting. Of course, we have a problem in Zambia because musicians also have to sell their own albums. But in other places where you have a producer and you have outlets, for you is to be able to get your returns once the books are sold. So the advantage the disadvantage is that you don't get paid when you're working. And you may need a lot of investment before you can be able to realize returns. And that's why if you have a job, that's where it comes in and it helps you. But the advantage is that you don't suffer from time saturation, which is the problem of end income. Because the end income, for you to earn more money, you have to spend more time. Overtime, side hustle, and things like that. But you reach a point where you have time saturation. You can't work anymore, or else you kill yourself. You know, and the like. But with end income, you can have as many properties as you want, or you can write as many books as possible, and they all will be bringing in income. You know, yeah. So that is the advantage with end income.
That's passive income.
Yeah, I mean of passive. Passive, thank you for that correction. The problem with the goodness with passive income.
Now, Doc, let's get to the last one.
Yeah.
You talked of portfolio income. Yeah. Let's look at that.
Portfolio income basically is income from what is called paper assets. Okay, they are called paper assets because I don't even know now you can even call them paper assets because they don't even give you a paper. You know, so to say, maybe it's electronic paper, if there's anything like. You have electronic copies. Now, portfolio income is income from paper assets. What are paper assets? Paper assets are basically when you invest in securities. In paper assets, it's a time when you begin to use money to earn money. So the product here, or the service, whatever you can call it, is money. In the end income, you are investing your knowledge, you are investing your energy to be able to earn end income. Similarly, in passive income, you are also investing your energy, you are investing your knowledge, But when you come to portfolio income, you are basically investing money. So it's when you start investing in or earning in portfolio income is where money starts. Let me put it this way. The other types of incomes, you are working for money. But when you reach at portfolio level, money starts working for you. How? Because it's the money that is the product here is money. It's not a building. It's not a copy of a CD or a copy of a book. No, your product that you are going to sell is money. Okay? So now, the examples of portfolio income, we are talking about shares. Shares are basically when you have a share, we'll talk about this in detail in future. It is where you have you buy a portion of a business. It may be 1% of the business. It may be 0.00% of a business. That's what you buy. And then at the end, in fact, mostly every 6 months, they will send you dividends. They will pay you dividends. That is if the company has made a profit. There are details that we can be able to explain. That's the first one. Then you also have what are called bonds. Okay, these are bonds and shares are called capital. They are in the capital market. Okay, they are long-term investments, relative long-term investment. And so then you have bonds. Bonds, there are different types of bonds again, but let's focus on government bonds. When the government wants to borrow money, it issues a call or papers that are called bonds. And when you buy a bond, you lend to the government, and the government will give you interest. And I don't want to get a little bit more sophisticated and complicated, but let me say is that when the first time we were participating in bonds, my wife and I went there. We went to Bank of Zambia, said how much you want to invest. We told them how much we wanted to invest. And then, so when we did that, let me just calculate without mentioning a figure. We go there, and this the amount we wanted to invest. And then, so we invest this amount, and then afterwards, they told us, this amount you have invested, there is actually a discount. Okay? So let me give a fictitious figure. Let's say you invest, let's just, at that point, if you invest maybe 100,000, and then they say, this amount, it's like you have invested maybe 100,000, maybe it's like you've invested 175,000. So 75,000 is a discount. So now the value of your bond will actually be 175,000. Then they will pay you interest on 175,000. But also the issue is that interest is paid annually. Every interest is paid annually. Okay, let me give an example. For example, if you have, if people say, no, I've gone to this place, their interest is very cheap. It's 5%. It's not like at the bank where they will charge you 15%. So when you do that, but you are paying 5% on a monthly basis. So the only way you understand that the real interest you are paying is multiply 5% by 12. That now tells you who is paying more, the one who is paying from, who was borrowed from the bank or was borrowed maybe from a microfinance. So that is the challenge that we have. But anyway, so we have bonds, we have treasury bills, we have commercial papers. you have shares, and many other such types. Those are called paper assets. Quickly, in terms of advantages, is that you can have as many as you want. You will not suffer from time saturation. You can have them in many places. You know, some of our investments are actually offshore. They are not in the country. They are offshore. You know, you can invest. The world is open. You can invest anywhere. No, you don't suffer from time saturation. You know, the disadvantage of portfolio income is that for you to earn significant interest, you need a big amount of money. That's when it makes sense, unless you just want to build it. That's why we ask people, you want to invest in paper assets? Is it for growth or for income? No, it's for income. But sir, your money is too little. You will not get you will not get much. That's why some people are complaining. Shares are nothing. You know, they send you money. They put so much. They only gave me. No, but sir, you have very little shares. Your number of shares are too few. You need more shares. If you can have 1 million shares and they declare 2 kwacha per share as dividend, you already have 2 million kwacha. You know, cool cash, 2 million. You didn't work, you are not going to work, you just remain at home. But the capital injection is very, very high. So that's why building up your wealth, you can even build a house, afterwards sell it and just invest the money in the stock market or wherever capital market you want to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Doc, for coming through and for sharing this insight with us.
You're welcome.
All right. And thank you very much for choosing Radio Christian Voice. So today's discussion has unveiled the dimensions of income and passive and portfolio. Each type plays a unique role in your financial journey. And so as you strive for wealth, consider expanding beyond end income, tapping into the power of passive and portfolio income as well. So join us in the next episode as we delve into practical strategies for creating and managing multiple income streams. Remember, your wealth is a puzzle with the various pieces, and each income type is a key part of that puzzle. Thank you so much for keeping it Radio Christian Voice. My name is Kunda, and we have to go now. Bye-bye for now.
Get ready to embark on a journey towards becoming the next generation of millionaires, the faithful way.